Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak Easy English. I'm Julia.
And I'm James. We're so glad you're here with us today.
In all our years of teaching, one question comes up constantly. How can I stop translating in my head and think directly in English?
That is the exact challenge we're solving today. If you've ever felt stuck in translation mode, this video is for you.
We will share a simple, step-by-step method to train your brain to think in English. Our goal is to move from slow translation to fast, natural thinking.
So, if you're ready to transform your fluency, let's begin.
If you're finding this helpful and want to become part of our learning community, we would love for you to officially join us. Please subscribe to the Speak Easy English channel for clear, practical lessons like this every single week.
Yes, just click that big red subscribe button below this video and also tap the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss a new lesson and you can continue your journey to fluency with us.
Okay, let's start by clearly identifying the single biggest obstacle to fluent speaking. Most English learners, even at intermediate levels, get trapped in what we call translation mode. It's an exhausting mental process that looks like this.
You hear a question in English. Your brain, out of habit, rushes to your native language to process the meaning and formulate a response. Only then does it begin the laborious work of translating each word back into English. It's a three-step journey for what should be an instant, direct connection.
And this is why so many people feel stuck. That internal translation creates a frustrating delay that makes conversations feel stressful. It undermines your confidence because you're always one step behind. And critically, it often leads to unnatural phrasing because languages don't translate word for word. You end up with English words with native language grammar, which can sound awkward.
So, the real solution, the core of true fluency, isn't just memorizing more vocabulary. It's about consciously building and strengthening new neural pathways. It's about forging a direct line in your mind from a thought or an image directly to the English phrase, completely bypassing your native language. And the best part? This is a skill that can be trained, starting with incredibly simple exercises. Let's look at the first one.
Now, let's dive into the practical part. We've broken this down into 4 simple, powerful steps that anyone can start today. You don't need fancy textbooks or hours of free time. You just need to be consistent with these mental exercises. Let's begin with the absolute foundation, the internal monologue. This is the simplest way to begin building those direct neural pathways we talked about. You don't need any special tools or apps for this, just you and your own mind.
The concept is incredibly simple, yet powerful. You are going to start narrating your own life, silently in your head, using simple present tense English sentences. The key is to describe what you are doing as you are doing it. For example, as you walk to your door, you think, "I am walking to the door." As you open it, "I am opening the door." If you pick up your coffee, "This coffee is hot. It smells good."
And James is making a crucial point here. The goal is not perfection. It's not about creating perfect, complex sentences. It's about the practice of linking the physical action directly to the English words in your mind. If you can't remember the word for door, you might think, "I am opening the big wooden thing." That's perfectly fine. You're still thinking in English, you're still building that direct connection, and you're identifying gaps in your vocabulary in a very practical way.
So, here is your first official action point. We want you to commit to just 5 minutes a day of this internal narration. It could be while you're making breakfast, walking to the bus, or brushing your teeth. For 5 minutes, your inner voice speaks only English. This small, consistent practice is how you will build a powerful new habit. It's like taking your brain to the gym for a short, focused workout.
This step alone will begin to change your relationship with the language. You're moving English from being a subject you study to a tool you use to interact with your world. It's the first and most important step in making thinking in English feel completely natural and automatic. Ready for the next step to build on this foundation?
Now that you've started training your brain to form simple sentences, let's build your vocabulary in the most practical way possible. For step 2, I want you to do this right now. Just look around you. Look at the room you're in, your desk, what's outside your window. Now, I want you to start pointing at objects. Yes, actually point. And name them out loud in English. Window, desk, keyboard, phone, lamp. Do this systematically. It might feel silly at first, but you're creating powerful visual and physical connections to these words.
This exercise is crucial because it specifically targets what we call your passive vocabulary. Words you recognize when you see or hear them, but don't naturally use when you're speaking. By actively retrieving the word and saying it aloud while looking at the object, you're forcing your brain to move that word from the passive storage into your active vocabulary. The words you can recall and use instantly and effortlessly in conversation. You're essentially teaching your brain, this thing I'm looking at is a window, not just something that translates to my native word for window.
And here's the most important part of this exercise. If you don't know a word, that's your golden opportunity. Don't just skip over it. See that thing on your desk, the stapler, the paperclip, the power strip? If the English word doesn't immediately come to mind, stop and look it up right then and there. Use your phone, use a dictionary, find the word. That moment of active problem solving, of seeking out the word you need to describe your immediate environment, makes the memory of that word incredibly strong. You're learning on demand, in context, which is far more effective than memorizing random lists.
Think of your surroundings as your personal, interactive vocabulary flashcards. The world around you is labeled, and your job is to discover those labels in English. Try this for just a few minutes several times a day. When you're in the kitchen, name the appliances. When you're outside, name what you see. You'll be amazed at how quickly you fill the gaps in your vocabulary with words you actually need and use, transforming your environment from a passive space into an active, 24/7 English classroom. Now we come to what is truly a game changer for sounding natural and speaking fluently. Step 3 is about a fundamental shift in how you assemble your thoughts. You must stop thinking in single, separate words and start thinking in ready-made chunks or phrases. What do I mean by chunks? These are the common groups of words that native speakers use automatically, almost as if they were a single vocabulary item themselves.
Let me give you a very clear comparison. Right now, you might construct a sentence piece by piece in your mind. You think, I am going to the store. It's slow, it's mechanical, and it often results in awkward phrasing. Instead, we want you to train your brain to grab the entire phrase at once. I'm heading to the store. Think of it as one single unit of meaning. Another example, instead of thinking, that is a good idea, you simply access the chunk, that's a great idea. You're not building the sentence from scratch anymore. You're selecting a pre-assembled block of language.
This is exactly how native speakers achieve speed and rhythm in their speech. They aren't consciously selecting every the, a, and is. They've stored countless phrases in their mental library. This is why sometimes a learner might say something that is technically, grammatically correct, but it just doesn't sound quite right. It's because they're using individual words, not the natural chunk that a native would use. For instance, you might say, I am very happy to meet you, which is correct, but the more common, chunked phrase is, it's great to meet you.
So, how do you start doing this? Your action point for this step is to become a collector of phrases, not just words. When you're watching a movie or listening to a conversation, don't just note down new vocabulary. Write down the entire phrase you hear. Instead of just learning the word appointment, learn the chunk, I need to schedule an appointment. Practice saying these chunks aloud until they feel like one word. This will dramatically reduce your mental processing time and make your English flow smoothly and confidently. You've mastered internal narration, activated your vocabulary, and started thinking in chunks. Now, are you ready for the ultimate exercise that brings it all together? This is where we level up. Step 4 is the self-conversation. This is exactly what it sounds like. You are going to have a small, spontaneous conversation with yourself, entirely in English. This moves you from describing a static reality to dynamically using the language to express your thoughts, opinions, and plans.
This is the bridge between thinking about things and thinking through things in English. It's the final piece that prepares you for real interactions. The goal here is fluency of thought, not just fluency of speech. Let's make this practical. You don't need to prepare a script. Start by asking yourself simple questions about your immediate experience, your past, or your future, and then answer them. For example, while looking out the window, you might ask, "What's the weather like today?" And answer, "It looks a bit cloudy. I think it might rain later." Or, plan your evening. "What are my plans for tonight?" "Well, first I'll finish work around 6. Then, I think I'll watch a movie. I should decide what to eat for dinner, too."
The power of this technique is that it simulates a real dialogue. In a conversation, you can't predict every question, so this trains your brain to retrieve vocabulary and form sentences under the gentle pressure of your own curiosity. It forces you to use linking words like well, then, so, and because, which are essential for natural flow. If you get stuck and can't find a word, that's perfect. That's the moment you practice your circumlocution skills, describing the word you can't recall. For instance, if you forget the word remote control, you could say, "I need the thing for changing the channels on the television." This is a vital, real-world speaking skill.
Make this a daily habit. Talk to yourself while commuting, while cooking, while getting ready. Ask your opinion on a news headline. Explain how to do your job, or describe your favorite book to an imaginary friend. You are creating a safe, private space where you are both the speaker and the listener, building the confidence and mental agility needed to handle any real English conversation that comes your way.
You now have the 4 active steps to train your brain. But to truly make this new way of thinking stick, to make it become your default, we have one final and absolutely crucial piece of advice. You need to move beyond just practice time and create an English bubble or environment around your entire day. This is about making English a natural part of your life, not just a subject you study.
Think of it this way. If you only practice for 30 minutes a day, but then spend the other 15.5 hours surrounded by your native language, your brain will always see English as a foreign, separate activity. We need to make it feel normal and familiar. And the best part? This requires very little active effort on your part. It's about smart, passive exposure.
Next, fill your dead time with English. During your commute, while cooking, or when you're at the gym, listen to English music, podcasts, or audiobooks. You don't even need to focus 100% on understanding every single word. The goal is to bathe your brain in the sounds, rhythm, and intonation of the language. This passive listening is incredibly powerful for training your ear and making English feel less foreign.
Let's talk about some of the easiest and most effective ways to build this bubble. The first thing you can do right now, literally as soon as this video ends, is to change the language setting on your phone and computer to English. Think about how many times a day you look at your phone. You see messages, settings, search. Without any extra study time, you are constantly reviewing basic, essential vocabulary. Your brain starts to accept these words as the standard, not as a translation.
The combined effect of these small changes is profound. This constant low-level exposure works in the background of your mind, normalizing English and signaling to your brain that this is an important and frequently used language. It deactivates the panic mode that often triggers the translation habit. Your brain starts to relax into English, accepting it as a valid and comfortable mode of thinking and processing information.
This isn't about overwhelming yourself. It's about seamless integration. Start with one thing. Change your phone's language today. Next week, find an English language podcast you enjoy. Small, consistent changes to your environment will do more for your long-term fluency than many hours of forced, stressful studying ever could. You are quite literally building a world where thinking in English is the easiest and most natural option. And there you have it, a complete blueprint to rewire your brain and start thinking directly in English. We began by understanding the problem of translation mode, and then we built your new mental framework step by step, from the internal monologue to activating your surrounding vocabulary, thinking in chunks, and finally, having a full self-conversation. To make it all stick, we surround ourselves with an English environment. Now, knowledge is only power if you take action, so we have a very specific challenge for you.
This is your official invitation to our 7-day Think in English challenge. Here's all you need to do. For the next 7 days, we want you to commit to practicing just step 1, the internal monologue for 5 to 10 minutes each day. That's it. You don't need to master all 4 steps at once. Just focus on narrating your life in your head for a few short minutes as you go about your morning routine or your commute. The goal is to build the habit. We truly believe this can transform your fluency. So, if you found this guide helpful and you're ready to take control of your English thinking, we would love to hear from you. Please, let us know in the comments below. Which of the 4 steps are you most excited to try first? Is it the internal monologue? Or are you already looking forward to having conversations with yourself? Your comment helps us know what you want more of and connects you with other learners on the same journey.
Thank you so much for watching and for dedicating this time to your English growth. Now, it's time to stop watching and start thinking.
Happy thinking, everyone! We can't wait to hear about your progress. See you in the next video on Speak Easy English.